So, the electric SUV market in Europe, it is absolutely on fire right now. And two challengers from China are making some serious waves. In one corner, you've got the super stylish Lynk Co. 02, and in the other, the value-packed BYD Atto 2. Now, they might come from the same place, but trust me, their philosophies on how to win you over could not be more different. So let's get into it and see who really comes out on top.
All right, here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll meet the new challengers. Then, we'll put in performance to the test, power versus practicality. After that, we're jumping inside to look at style versus space. Then, we'll crunch the all-important numbers on cost, range, and charging. And finally, we'll give you the final verdict on which one of these might be for you.
So let's set the stage here with our new challengers. We've got two really formidable competitors, both aiming for the exact same market. But this is way more than just a simple rivalry. It's really a clash of two competing visions for what an affordable European EV should be.
Okay, first up, the Lynk Co. 02. Now, the best way to think about this one is as the ambitious, stylish cousin in the Volvo and Polestar family. It's actually built on the same fantastic platform as the Volvo EX30, just wrapped in a bigger, more unique body. This thing is gunning for the style-conscious driver who wants both performance and that premium feel.
And this right here? This slide just nails the core conflict. The Lynk Co. 02 is all about delivering that premium, dynamic, fun-to-drive experience. Meanwhile, the BYD Atto 2 is laser-focused on being the sensible, practical choice for city life, just packing in as much value for your money as it possibly can. Two totally different game plans.
Let's talk performance. This is where we see how those different philosophies actually translate to the driving experience. I mean, on the road is where you really separate the weekend warrior from the daily city commuter, right? And wow, the difference is immediate and it is dramatic. When you're talking about getting up to speed, there's a 2.4-second gap between these two. In the world of electric cars, that is an absolute lifetime. And here's the tale of the tape. The Lynk Co. 02, it just packs more punch, gets to 100 kilometers an hour way faster, and has a higher top speed. But honestly, the most important detail on this slide is the drive type. The 02 has rear-wheel drive, which promises that classic sporty handling. The Atto 2's front-wheel drive, that's all about predictable, easygoing city driving. So what does that feel like in the real world? Well, the Lynk Co. feels really lively, kind of nippy. It's engaging, it's fun. The trade-off, though, is that sporty suspension means it can feel a bit firm and, yeah, maybe a little bouncy on roads that aren't perfectly smooth. The BYD Atto 2, on the other hand, is an absolute dream for just pottering around town. Its soft suspension just soaks up all the bumps. But get it on the motorway and that softness becomes a bit of a weakness. It can feel less stable, a bit wobbly, and you find yourself making these little steering corrections to keep it straight.
Okay, performance is one thing, but what do these cars actually like to live with day to day? Let's step inside and check out the trade-offs between style and pure practical space.
So on paper, the BYD Atto 2 looks a bit more practical with its larger boot. But the Lynk Co. has a trick up its sleeve, a handy 15-liter frunk, a front trunk, which is just perfect for stashing charging cables. Fold the seats down, and they're almost identical. But you have to look at that last row. The Lynk Co. 02 has a massive 1,600 kilogram towing capacity. That is a huge advantage, a genuine game changer for a vehicle in this class.
Inside, the cabin philosophies are just miles apart. The Lynk Co. is a tech lover's paradise, with its minimalist design, high-end audio, and kind of quirky features, like a passenger selfie camera. But the BYD is all about functional value. You get a huge, rotating screen as standard, and 360-degree cameras as standard, plus a completely flat rear floor, which makes it so much more comfortable for anyone stuck in the middle seat.
But here's the one thing that unites them, and not in a good way. Both cars have these overly sensitive, really aggressive driver assistance systems. The constant beeping for speed limits and driver attention is, well, to put it lightly, infernally annoying. And you have to dive into the menus to turn it all off every single time you start the car. All right, now for the part that hits the wallet. Let's break down the numbers that so often make or break the decision for an EV buyer, the price, and how long you're going to spend waiting at a charger.
The BYD Atto 2 immediately shows its hand here with a lower entry price, especially when you factor in promotional offers. So while the official retail prices are pretty close, the Atto 2 is definitely positioned as the more accessible option. That's a clear advantage for anyone who's budget conscious.
Now, when it's time to recharge on a long trip, the Lynk Co O2 really flexes its muscles with a very respectable peak charging speed of 150 kilowatts. That's a seriously strong number, and it promises some pretty quick top-ups.
And this is where the Atto 2's value proposition kind of hits a wall. Its maximum charging speed is a lot slower, topping out around 82 kilowatts. So here's the trade-off, right? You might save some money up front, but you're definitely going to be spending more time waiting at the charger.
Let's just translate that into real-world waiting time. In just 20 minutes, the Lynk Co O2 can pack on another 200 kilometers of range. That makes road trips totally feasible and efficient. The BYD Atto 2, though, it's going to need almost double the time to get a similar amount of range back, which really makes it a much better fit for people who are mostly just sticking to city driving.
Okay, so we've looked at performance, practicality, and price. Now it's time to put it all together. Let's build a clear profile of who should buy which car.
All right, the Lynk Co O2. This is the clear choice for the style-conscious tech professional. If you love a premium cabin, you want a car that's genuinely fun to drive, you need that fast charging for trips out of the city, and hey, you could use that massive towing capacity, then the O2 absolutely justifies its higher price. It's just the more versatile and engaging machine.
But the BYD Atto 2 is the undisputed champion for the value-oriented family. If your driving is almost all urban, you need a comfy and spacious back seat, and your number one priority is getting the most features for the lowest possible price, then the Atto 2 is an incredibly compelling and really smart, pragmatic choice.
And that really brings us to our final thought. These two cars, they represent a fascinating fork in the road for the European EV market. So will buyers be won over by the super pragmatic, value-first approach of BYD? Or will they be willing to pay a premium for the performance, tech, and versatility that Lynk Co is offering? It's a strategic battle that's going to shape the roads for years to come.
So, which path will European drivers choose? Pragmatic value or premium performance? Well, only time will tell. That wraps up our breakdown of this clash of contenders. Thanks so much for joining us for this explainer.